So I've already done a few videos on PucnchOut's Little Mac. PucnchOut's. A few different theories. One that claims that Little Mac has various mental disorders, and that all of the boxing taking place in the game is all in his imagination. Then the other theory claims that the whole thing is set up by the Make-A-Wish Foundation because Little Mac is dying. Now I have just one more I want to talk about, and it's a little more based in reality. Less of a stretch. And when I say based in reality, I mean based in our reality. This is very plausible. And it's a lot more easy to understand. That theory is that all the matches in the WVBA are staged, fixed ahead of time. The WVBA, that's the World Video Boxing Association. It's the PucnchOut world's, well, boxing association. And if you look closely, you might come to the conclusion that the matches are staged. I mean, look at all these obvious signs of, I'm about to attack you.
Here it comes. Right.
But why? Well, let's look at real matches in the WWE. Now I know the WWE isn't boxing, but we'll get to that in a bit. Everyone knows that the WWE is staged, and watching certain clips of it shows all of the obvious missing and wacky circumstances the fighters find themselves in. The referee isn't even a real referee, otherwise so many of the rules would be broken all the time. In fact, the referee is the person that tells the wrestlers to end the round if the audience seems to be getting bored with it, among many other things. And don't any of you try to deny it. Many members of the WWE have all stated that yes, it is all staged, fixed, planned out ahead of time, scripted, all of that. That's why they always refer to it as sports entertainment instead of sports. With the history of the WWE being faked and staged and all, many people will then assume all fighting sports are faked. And then others will retort, no, it can't be fake. Look, there is real blood and there are real injuries happening here. And yes, there is real blood and there are real injuries, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't planned ahead of time. These people are tough. They're getting paid to bleed. Even in the WWE, there are real injuries. Most of the punches and body slams and being hit by chairs, that's all real too. The fighting itself is all real. It's merely the outcome of each match and some of the more specific crazy moves that are all planned ahead of time. And that bit of logic is what leads many to assume that all the fighting sports are faked. The fighting itself in the UFC, for example, could be very, very real. The fighting in the MMA, very, very, very intense and real. But who's to say that the victor isn't chosen ahead of time? And I'm not saying that any of these are staged or not. That one definitely is. But the rest of these could very well be or not be. That's not what this video is about. But the WWE is wrestling, not boxing. Wrestling is not what Little Mac does. He boxes, full time. So, let's talk about boxing now. Little Mac's forte. Some claim that not all, but a lot of boxing matches are fixed, and the winner is determined by the bettors. This is most common in Las Vegas matches, of course. Whoever of the two boxers has the most money bet on them to win will be the loser, so that the betting company will get to keep the most amount of money possible. And it's all led by the Don, or the head honcho, or whatever. But that's just a claim, a big conspiracy theory. Is there any evidence to support it? Well, let's look at some history. One example is that for 13 years, the International Boxing Federation had their rankings and title shots predetermined, because those in charge were bribed with big bucks. Over 23 boxers and 7 promoters were involved, and lots of money was made, until of course they were eventually caught and exposed. There was also the ring scandal of 1976. This was also big news. It turned out that 11 fighters were bought out, paid off to lose, and thus setting up the winners ahead of time. When this got leaked, the final big championship match got cancelled. by ABC, because they knew and everyone knew it was going to be fake, because the two winners were also faked the whole way. And if I was to go over every single proven example of this in actual boxing that has happened, this video would turn into a multi-hour long documentary. But my point is this, the theory. The enemy fighters in PucnchOut were all bribed ahead of time to lose. Think about it. The odds are all stacked against Little Mac. He's short, so he has no reach. He's significantly smaller than the rest of them, so his muscles aren't as big, so he's not as strong. Of course most people are going to bet against Little Mac. Now Little Mac might not even know that the other fighters have been bribed. He might think he's winning full legitimately, but the fact that so many of them have easily determined patterns, leave themselves plenty open, give warnings to their attacks, and even over-dramatically get knocked out, who knows if that's a real knockout or not, shows that there's definitely something fishy going on. And even by the time he catches up and becomes the champion, that just sets them all up for more. Next season, all bets will be placed on Little Mac for him to lose. And the betting company makes big bucks. I don't know why I'm smiling, that's terrible. But you know, that's all just one possibility. A game possibility. I've wanted to do that for a while now. Stay awesome, everyone.